I can't believe I'm doing this. Okay. I feel like I need some kind of a catchphrase to like start. You know, like the Disney Channel, like do. We'll work on it. Assalamu alaikum everyone and welcome to my channel. Some of you may already know me, some of you may not. I'm a married Latina, so I have a much longer name, but for the purposes of social media, I go by Natasha Zolotel. I'm a modest fashion content creator on Instagram. I'll make sure to link my profile in the description. Now with the formalities aside, this is my first YouTube video. Y'all have been asking me to start a YouTube channel for months and months, so alhamdulillah, finally did it. Now on Instagram, I focus on a couple different things, mainly modest fashion. Sometimes I talk about Salah in Islam. Also on my Instagram, I do a lot of product and brand recommendations, which I still might do a little bit of here on YouTube, but I really want to focus this space to some of those concepts that I know kind of need like longer videos, which Instagram unfortunately limits me to 90 seconds. Giving advice around increasing your modesty, advice with hijab, advice with converting to Islam, which I am a convert of 3 years, alhamdulillah. Talking about my own experiences being in an intercultural, interracial marriage, getting married young, being a young mom. Point is, I have a lot to talk about. So this is the place I'm gonna do it, inshallah. Now, originally when I hit 30K on Instagram, I had planned to do an about me video, get to know me. I never got around to it. So that's what I want this first video to be about. I kind of want to give an introduction as to who I am, why I'm doing this. So bismillah, let's get started. As you already know, my name is Natasha. I am 25 years old. I have a very mixed background. My mother is Puerto Rican, my father is American, and their own heritage individually is super mixed as well. But to keep things simple, I just tell people I'm Puerto Rican because that's where I was born. I converted to Islam 3 years ago. The longer you stick around, you're gonna notice I switch interchangeably between revert and convert. And I'll go more into detail about why in another video. But I use them both interchangeably. I'm also married to a wonderful, wonderful man. His name is Wasif. We've been married a little over 3 years now, and together we have the most beautiful 2-year-old, mashallah. I don't show her very often on social media just to kind of keep that part of my life private, but sometimes you'll catch glimpses of her or you'll hear her in the background of my videos. She is the love of my life, alhamdulillah. So currently I live in Florida. I moved here in August of last year. Prior to that, I was living in Australia for about a year in the amazing city of Brisbane. I was completing my master's in conservation biology, but I just tell people environmental biology because sometimes not everybody knows what conservation means. An explanation for another video. Prior to Australia, I was living in New York City. My husband is a Queens boy. If we got any people from the city, let me know in the comments, drop me a year. You'll catch me going to New York a lot because we have a lot of family there and all of our friends are there. I moved to New York in 2017 for college. I went to the school of my dreams, alhamdulillah, NYU, also known as New York University. I will forever be a proud grape. And prior to that, I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. And prior to that, I was in Puerto Rico. There's more to it, but we don't need to go that far back. So it's really hard to answer that question like, oh, where are you from? I just tell people Puerto Rico because that is where my heart is. That is where most of my family is. I've spent several years of my childhood growing up there. It's where I was born. It's like the culture I identify with. So that's all you need to remember. She's Puerto Rican. Now, my husband, on the other hand, is from Bangladesh. I know what you're thinking, a Puerto Rican and a Bangladeshi. How did that happen? There is a video coming, just stay tuned. Which makes my daughter Bengali Rican. My primary full-time job is being a content creator, which is something I didn't start saying until recently. Even though I've been working social media as a full-time job, I'm talking like over 40 hours a week easily. It wasn't until recently I really feel like I could call myself a full-time content creator. And that's honestly thanks to all of you. All the amazing support I've gotten on Instagram. And while I do love Instagram, I've heard YouTube is where it's at, so here I am. Some other random facts about me that people probably don't know about and probably don't care, but I'm gonna share them anyways. I was a musical theater kid. If I hadn't gone into sciences and STEM and everything, I probably would have tried to go into musical theater. Singing, dancing, acting was everything to me. I sang and danced my whole life. A very like creative kind of person. I love my sports, I really do. I grew up playing football with my dad. I was even on my school softball team, but I suck at sports. Let's be real, yes, I was on the softball team, but we all know where I was the majority of the time. The bench. I was sitting on the bench. I'm definitely more of like a creative kind of person. I did choir all of my school years. I was a cellist in an orchestra for several years, so I played the cello. Personally owned an electric cello. She was beautiful. Also grew up playing the piano. I taught myself how to play guitar. I danced for several years. I was trained in everything from ballet, aerial dance, acrobatics, hip hop, street jazz, Broadway, lyrical, contemporary, and Latin dance. Now with Latin dance, I was actually a teacher, and this is when I was in college. I taught salsa, merengue, bachata, and reggaeton. For obvious reasons, I'm no longer a dance teacher. But all of those hobbies are still passions I have in my heart that I dabble in from time to time. I'm also a huge sci-fi nerd. I'm talking Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Marvel. I've seen every single movie. DC fans, I don't even want to hear you in the comments. I also got into K-dramas last year, to the point where my entire Netflix is now just Korean dramas. You will find nothing in any other language. It's just all Korean. If you have any recommendations, drop them in the comments. Drop me a DM on Instagram. I am here for it. I'm also like a huge philosophy person, so if you ever get the chance to meet me IRL and we talk long enough, I'm gonna start like debating ethics and morals and philosophy and the way the whole universe works, because that's just who I am. To the point where my best friends and I once had a 3-hour philosophical debate over what a philosophical debate was. I just really love questions that have no definitive answer. Although my husband just says I like to argue. Oh, I almost forgot. I love to travel. Now, I know that sounds super cliche, but just give me a second. Prior to converting and becoming like a Muslim modest fashion influencer, I did a lot of travel content. And if you go really far back on my Instagram, you'll see a bunch of photos that nobody's in, because I had to delete all the photos that I was in for obvious reasons. I think to this day, I have been to... I feel like I'm missing one, but it's either like 21 or 22 countries. I'm pretty sure I've been to every continent. I have some really, really crazy story times traveling. I'm gonna need to filter and see which ones are appropriate for the internet. I'm telling y'all, I have some wild stories. I don't have any plans on traveling anytime soon. I've just been really focused on Instagram, growing on this whole social media thing. But when I do travel, I love making travel videos. Might start making travel vlogs. This is where I will put them. Ultimately, I just want this channel to be a safe space where, yeah, I kind of show a little more personal side to my life sometimes, but mostly to talk about the things that you guys want to hear more about. Things like my hijab journey and how I've gotten to where I am, giving advice about hijab and modesty in general, which I really, really love to do. How I've gotten closer to Islam, which I think is beneficial to both reverts and people who have been Muslim their whole life, because I've talked to a lot of born Muslims, and you really go through your own conversion process where you're finding Islam for yourself, reconnecting spiritually in your own way. So I'm really just here to help y'all through it. And know that so many of these things can be so intimidating. So I really want to be here to help y'all out in whatever way you need it. If you want to get a better idea of the kind of content I make, I would check out my Instagram, because I just have so much more stuff on there. My YouTube is kind of new, so bear with me and give me some time. If you check out my Instagram and you like what you see, or just by this video alone, I somehow convinced you that I'm a cool person, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I do intend on being consistent on YouTube. That's it though, that's all I have. I could keep talking about myself, but it's gonna start getting really boring. Becoming a content creator this past year has been so exciting. So I'm really, really excited for this next chapter in the journey. I'm really excited to see where it goes, inshallah. And I know that none of this would have been possible, even now moving forward, making progress, without the support of all of you. So as always, thank you so much. Alhamdulillah, you guys have been so amazing. Inshallah, Ramadan is coming up soon, so I have a lot of exciting content ideas planned. But I do really want this to be a channel for you guys and what you guys want to see. If there's any specific types of videos you want to see, specific things you want me to talk about, be sure to drop it in the comments. And make sure you hit that subscribe button. It's so cringe. I don't know how to end this, but that's all.